Do you know why the North never truly accepted Daenerys Targaryen? Even after she crossed the sea with dragons, armies, and the promise of liberation, people say it was ingratitude. That the North was stubborn, ungrateful, slow to bow. That they should have knelt the moment dragonfire lit the sky. But the North does not bend for spectacle. It bends for memory. The North remembers what the rest of the realm prefers to forget. It remembers kings who promised protection and delivered ruin. It remembers southern wars paid for in northern blood. It remembers how quickly love turns to chains. Daenerys arrived, speaking of breaking wheels, but the North has never trusted wheels at all. They grind whoever stands beneath them, no matter who turns them. You see, the North did not see a savior. They saw a conqueror who spoke kindly. They had already crowned a king once. A young wolf they loved, who paid for honor with his life. They had followed banners, trusted vows, and buried sons. By the time Daenerys arrived, they were done believing in strangers with destiny in their eyes. And then there were the dragons. The South sees dragons and thinks of power. The North sees dragons and remembers fire falling from the sky. Old songs, half-forgotten stories, bones beneath the snow. They remember that dragons do not defend homes. They destroy them, even when commanded by good intentions. Daenerys asked them to kneel. She did not understand that the North kneels only to those who bleed with them first. Jon Snow was not loved because of his claim. He was loved because he froze beside them, because he marched north when no one else would, because he asked for loyalty last, not first. Daenerys never learned that language. She spoke of destiny. The North speaks of duty. She spoke of what she was owed. The North speaks of what must be endured. And then there was fear, not of dragons alone, but of certainty. Daenerys did not doubt herself, not publicly, not even when doubt would have reassured them. The North has lived under absolute rulers before. They know where unwavering certainty leads. Mad kings never believe they are mad, and the North has buried enough victims of southern certainty to recognize the signs. They watched her eyes when she spoke of enemies. They heard the way they won't bend became they must burn. And they understood something before the South ever did. Mercy that demands gratitude is not mercy at all. Even her kindness felt conditional. Love given only after obedience. Protection offered only once the knee touched the ground. The North does not bargain with its spine. And then there was Jon. To the North, Jon was one of theirs. To Daenerys, Jon was a complication. They saw how her affection cooled when his claim surfaced. How quickly love became calculation. How destiny reshaped itself the moment it was threatened. The North noticed. They always do. Daenerys believed the realm would love her once it understood her sacrifices. But the North has never trusted sacrifice performed in its name without consent. They did not hate her. Hatred requires intimacy. They simply did not believe her. Not because she was cruel, but because she was certain. And certainty is the one thing the North fears more than winter. Winter can be prepared for. Certainty cannot. In the end, Daenerys was too much like the rulers the North had survived. She asked for faith before trust, obedience before understanding, love before belonging. The North does not work that way. They will follow you into darkness, but only if you walk beside them first. And that is why, no matter how many dragons circled above Winterfell, no matter how many titles followed her name, Daenerys Targaryen was never their queen. She came with fire, The North was forged in ice, and ice does not melt for promises. And do you know why they still refused her? Even after she saved them from death itself? People say it was madness, that the North was ungrateful beyond reason, that no man could deny a woman who brought dragons against the dead. But the North has always understood a truth the South learns too late. A debt paid in fear is never truly forgiven. Yes, Daenerys fought for them. Yes, her dragons burned the darkness from the sky. Yes, without her, Winterfell would have fallen and the living with it. The North does not deny that, but salvation does not erase instinct. They watched her during the long night. They saw how she fought not for the North, but for the war she believed destiny had assigned her. They saw victory in her eyes before the dead were fully gone. To the North, survival is not triumph. It is simply the price of tomorrow. They buried their dead the next morning, stacked the bodies of sons and daughters and fathers, and returned to the work of living. Daenerys waited for gratitude. That was her mistake. The North does not cheer saviors. It remembers who stayed after the fire died. And Daenerys did not stay as one of them. She stood apart, alone, surrounded by soldiers who did not know their names. Worse still, they sensed what she would ask next. The war for the dawn was over. Another war was coming, and she would ask them to bleed again, not for survival, but for a throne far to the south. The North has learned to recognize that pattern. They had already fought wars for southern crowns. They had marched under banners that were not theirs. They had been promised honor, justice, remembrance. What they received were graves. So when Daenerys looked upon them and saw subjects, they looked back and saw conscripts. She believed saving them had earned obedience. But the North believes something else entirely. That true loyalty is not claimed by rescue, but earned by restraint. And there was fear, quiet, unspoken fear. Not of dragons alone, but of what comes after absolute victory. They watched how she reacted to doubt, how questions felt like betrayals, how gratitude was expected, not invited. The North knows this road. They have seen rulers who saved cities and then burned them for failing to love them properly. They understood, even then, that the war against death had only delayed another reckoning. Daenerys wanted the North to kneel because she had saved it. The North wanted to stand because it had survived. Those are not the same thing. And so they honored her. They fought beside her. They thanked her in the only way they know, by enduring. But they did not give her their hearts. Because the North gives loyalty once, and when it is broken, it does not offer it again lightly. She came as a savior. She left as a warning. And the North, as it always has, chose caution over crowns, memory over miracles, and the cold truth over comforting fire. Winter teaches many lessons. The North simply listens.